What up, everybody? A lot of people been telling me that the current Raising Kanan timeline is in 1994, according to the shoes Kanan's been wearing and a couple other details. And that would go along with the theory I had before Raising Kanan Season 3, that the timeline at that point was in 1993, because they played the song Today Was a Good Day by Ice Cube in the Trap House in the Season 2 finale. But at the same time in Season 3, Jukebox was wearing a polo jacket that said 92 on it, and the group Butter wore baseball jerseys that also said 92. So it's still unclear what the current timeline for Raising Kanan is, but it's definitely at least 93 by now, after the time jump that took place at the beginning of episode 2. So if it's the year 1993 or 94, this would make young Ghost and Tommy around 13 or 14 years old on the current Raising Kanan timeline. But also keep in mind that Kanan was born in 1995, and Rock is mad that he's not going back to school, so that means it's likely 1993, making Kanan 18, because if it was in 1994, he would be 19, and she wouldn't be getting letters about him not attending high school. So the Jordans that came out in 94 and the other details were probably just overlooks by the wardrobe staff. So if Ghost and Tommy are approximately 13 years old on the current Raising Kanan timeline, we know from OG Power that they've already met at this point and that they met around 1989. So Ghost and Tommy are probably outside doing what normal 13-year-olds do. I didn't get into the game myself until about 16 years old. When I was 13 years old, I was outside doing stuff like playing basketball. So Ghost and Tommy are probably outside doing the same type stuff, because we know Ghost taught Tariq how to play basketball before he started hooping with Sean, and Tommy also hoops because Ghost once tricked Tommy into meeting him at Basketball City by getting Tommy to think he was going to be hooping with Tariq. And if Ghost and Tommy used to be outside hooping all the time before they got into the game, that will be another parallel that Ghost has with Tariq, because that's all we used to hear about Tariq doing before he met Kanan. And where did he meet Kanan at? None other than Basketball City. And I think another parallel between Ghost and Tariq will be that Ghost also meets Kanan while at a basketball court hooping, and Tommy will be with him also. Keeping in mind that the Season 4 trailer has Kanan and Jukebox posted up watching a specific basketball court. And another teaser has Kanan and Jukebox at a basketball court with their guns drawn at some kids. This is most likely when they're looking for answers about what happened to Famous. But I think two of the kids who will be at the basketball court that day will be young Ghost and Tommy. Keep it in mind that this is going to be soon after Jukebox just caught her first body. And like I talked about in the video I made yesterday, she might catch another body real soon by killing Mara if she sees her as a loose end. And Jukebox felt some kind of euphoria or a high or adrenaline rush after killing that man. So while at the basketball court, Jukebox might still be raging on a high after her first kill. Keep it in mind that Tommy called Jukebox a crazy bitch. So as we've seen Jukebox as the victim up until this point, she will now begin to flip the tables and begin to use fear/killing as her way to obtain power and control. Going back to OG Power, even looking at Jukebox's relationship with Candy, and it seemed like she used fear to control Candy also, as well as Lean. Also going back to OG Power in Season 2, Ghost showed up to RSK territory to talk to their leader Q-Dubs, and Q-Dubs and the RSKs were posted up at a basketball court. I think there's a good chance that it's the same basketball court that Kanan will meet Ghost and Tommy at. Keeping in mind what Kanan told Q-Dubs, that he gave that territory to Ghost and Tommy, and they gave it to Rolla and Q-Dubs. So if Ghost and Tommy are already at that basketball court on a regular basis, that might be one of their first trap spots that they later handed down to the RSKs. And like I said at the beginning of the video, I was always outside hooping before I got into the game. But my final year and a half in the game, things kind of came full circle for me when I moved to Florida after things got crazy in my hometown because I was running trap from a basketball court a lot, simply because I was always outside hooping because of the nice weather. Then when I went to prison, I was also hooping all the time there. Then after Ghost and Tommy meet Kanan at the basketball court, they will begin to go to work for Kanan in the drug game. And I think before too long, Ghost will go to work for Kanan as his number 2, replacing OC. Keep it in mind that part of the reason why Kanan is working with OC is because he's good with numbers. And just like D-Mac is a whiz when it comes to numbers, Tommy said Ghost was the same way. But the problem with OC is that he's small and that he's not mean. That's why Kanan was checking him last episode, telling him that none of the couriers on bikes better be hanging out at the trap spot, him and Famous's old apartment. But those couriers are not going to respect OC when Kanan's not around. This is why Ghost will be perfect for the job once he replaces OC. Because not only is Ghost good with numbers, Kanan also said in OG Power that Ghost was the meanest kid he ever met. So unlike OC, who's probably a little intimidated to even say anything to the couriers, Ghost will be the authority figure to hold things down for Kanan when he's not around. And we know that young Ghost doesn't play any games either. Like Kate once said, Ghost took care of 2 kids who were picking on Tommy, and nobody ever picked on him again after that. This shows that even at a young age, Ghost had no problem getting violent. And we know that OC will go missing at some point from the episode 7 description that says Kanan searches for a missing OC. Keep it in mind at the end of episode 3, Unique robbed Kanan's spot and OC saw his face. One question I have is, why did Unique let OC live? Because the fact that OC could potentially identify Unique as who robbed their spot later on down the line. So I wonder if it's Unique who disappears OC, possibly right before he begins to do business with Kanan. Or does OC go missing on his own? Could he even potentially leave town with Kanan's money? And this could be why Kanan is really looking for OC. Or maybe it's a combination of both, and Unique robs Kanan's spot again, but this time he disappears OC to make it look like OC was behind the first robbery. And OC going missing could set the stage for Ghost and Tommy working for Kanan next. Keeping in mind that by 1996, Ghost and Tommy were already working for Kanan and close enough to him by that point that Kanan was going to introduce them to Breeze. So I think the question to ask concerning when will Ghost and Tommy be introduced into the timeline is, will they not show up until Origins and be introduced as brand new characters at the start of the show like young Kanan at the beginning of Raising Kanan? Or will they be introduced and developed slowly for the last couple seasons of Raising Kanan, more like Tariq? I definitely think Tariq is the model to follow because Kanan had to be introduced as a new character at the start of the first season of the show because they were introducing a brand new timeline entirely. I would think by the time Origin comes on, they would want us to be somewhat familiar with young Ghost and Tommy by that point. Also keep in mind, even though it's expected by a lot of people that Season 5 will be the final season of Raising Kanan before the show transitions to Origins, that has still not been confirmed. So Raising Kanan could actually go past 5 seasons and even 6 seasons like OG Power, possibly even more than that. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.